Sometimes the smallest smile can carry more weight than anyone sees. At 5:35 in the morning, a little sidewalk stall is still glowing under a streetlight. The tarp makes that soft pulling sound as it shifts in the damp air. A plastic cash box sits near the edge of the table, half open, full of small coins that clink when the vendor moves his hand. People pass by. Some look at the food, some slow down, some ask the price, nod, and keep walking. And still, the vendor smiles. Why would someone smile at people who never buy anything? What you may be seeing is not politeness alone. It may be a quiet way of staying soft in a life that rarely feels soft back. In this video, we'll look at why that smile exists, what it carries, and why it can feel so familiar even if you've never sold anything on a sidewalk. A street vendor's smile can be a small act of warmth offered without any guarantee of return. It is a look that says, "I see you passing through my morning, even if this moment gives me nothing in exchange." That kind of smile is easy to misunderstand. From far away, it may look simple: friendly service, good manners, a business habit, a way to bring customers closer. But up close, it can be much more human than that. The vendor may not be smiling because life feels easy. He may be smiling because the day has already begun, the stall is already open, and there are only so many ways to meet a world that keeps moving past you. One common reason is that a smile can become a way to protect dignity when money is uncertain. When every morning starts with hope, but no promise, the smallest interactions begin to matter. A person who stops, asks, and leaves without buying can feel like a small rise and fall inside the chest. So the vendor smiles, not because it does not matter, but because keeping the face calm may help the moment pass without turning bitter. The smile says, "I can be disappointed without letting disappointment own the whole morning." It can begin quietly when work is built around being seen, but not always chosen. The vendor sits where everyone can look, compare, decide, and walk away. There is no office door to close, no private room to collect himself, no clean line between being ignored and simply being passed by. So the smile becomes part of the work, but also part of surviving the work. When a commuter glances at the stall and keeps going, that smile may be the vendor's way of staying open even after another tiny no. There's also a quieter reason. Some people learn to give warmth because they know what it feels like to go without it. Not every smile comes from comfort. Sometimes it comes from remembering how cold the world can feel when everyone acts like you are invisible. The vendor may smile at the tired student, the worker rushing late, the woman counting coins, the man who asks the price and looks embarrassed before walking away. He may understand, without words, that not buying is not always rejection. Sometimes a person is just trying to get through the same morning from a different side of the sidewalk. Picture him after the rush has ended. It is still early, but the busiest wave has already passed. The people who came off the bus have scattered into buildings, alleys, and crosswalks. For a few minutes, the sidewalk is strangely open. He sits behind the little stall without moving much. The light above him reflects in a shallow puddle near the curb, turning the water a pale orange. The wet asphalt smells sharp and familiar. A motorbike goes by without slowing down. Somewhere nearby, another vendor pulls at a tarp, and the sound drags across the quiet morning like fabric over a tired floor. The cash box is not empty, but it is not full either. He looks at it for a second, then looks away. A man had stopped earlier and asked about the food. He listened, smiled back, touched his pocket, and said nothing more. Then he left. Not rudely, not coldly, just gone. The vendor could carry that moment as insult. He could let each person who leaves take a little piece of patience with them. But instead, when the next person walks past, he raises his face and smiles again. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. Someone who keeps being kind after being overlooked. Someone who keeps greeting people after being treated like part of the background. Someone who keeps a soft face while the inside quietly counts what the world did not give back. This is for people who look steady on the outside, while something inside keeps learning how to stand without being held. And there's something else here that is not talked about enough. A smile like this can hold an emotional contradiction. It can be warm and tired at the same time. It can be honest and practiced. It can be generous, but also protective. Because when life rarely softens for you, softening anyway can become a private form of control. Not control over customers. Not control over money. Not control over traffic or whether the morning will be worth the work. Just control over one small thing. The kind of person you become while waiting. Maybe that is why the smile matters. The vendor cannot make anyone buy. He cannot make the bus crowd slow down. He cannot make the wet pavement dry faster or the day feel fairer. But he can decide that a person passing by is still a person, not just a missed sale. That does not make the disappointment vanish. It just gives it somewhere gentler to land. In a world where so many exchanges feel measured, a smile offered without purchase can feel almost out of place. It is not profitable in the obvious way. It does not always come back as money. It may not even come back as eye contact. But it keeps a small human bridge open. A passerby may remember it later without knowing why. A tired worker may feel less alone for 2 seconds. A person who could not buy today may come back tomorrow, not only for the food, but because the vendor did not make them feel small when they walked away. That kind of warmth is not loud. It sits behind a small counter. It lives in the way someone wipes the table even when no one is coming. It lives in the way they straighten the goods after a group walks past without stopping. It lives in the half-second smile given to someone who may never return. Sometimes, when you notice a smile like that, it can help to look at what it is protecting. Not in a heavy way, just gently. Maybe it protects hope from becoming resentment. Maybe it protects pride from becoming hardness. Maybe it protects a little piece of the person behind the stall, the part that still wants to meet the world without closing down completely. And maybe this is why the scene stays with you. Because you may not be a street vendor, but you may know the feeling of offering something and watching people move past it. You may know what it is like to send a message and not get the answer you hoped for. To do careful work and hear nothing back. To be kind in a room where nobody seems to notice. To show up again, even when the return is small. The setting changes, but the ache can feel familiar. A little stall on a wet sidewalk. A desk under fluorescent light. A kitchen after everyone else has eaten. A phone in your hand with no reply. In each place, there can be a moment where part of you wonders, why keep being warm? And maybe the answer is not grand. Maybe the answer is that warmth is sometimes the only part of the day that still feels like yours. There's a small thing a person can try when they notice this kind of smile, whether it is on a vendor's face or inside their own life. Pause long enough to separate the act from the outcome. A smile given to someone who does not buy is not a failed smile. A kind word that does not get praised is not wasted. A patient moment that no one rewards is still real. This can make the heart feel less tied to what comes back immediately, and more connected to the quiet truth of what was offered. Another small thing is to name the exchange more honestly. Instead of seeing it only as buyer and seller, it can be seen as two people meeting briefly at the edge of a day. One is trying to earn. One is trying to get somewhere. One has a stall, one has a route, and both may be carrying more than they show. That simple view does not erase money, but it can bring back the human shape underneath it. The vendor's smile is not proof that everything is fine. It may be the opposite. It may be proof that a person has been through enough mornings to understand that bitterness is easy to collect. It piles up in small ways. One ignored greeting. One slow hour. One person who asks too many questions and leaves. One day where the coins do not add up the way hope imagined. And still, the vendor smiles. Not every time, maybe. Not perfectly. Not with endless patience. Just enough to keep from becoming only what the day takes from him. That is a quiet kind of strength, though it may not call itself strength. It may simply look like a man sitting behind a small stall at 5:35 in the morning, listening to cars pass through wet air, waiting for the next face to appear. Some people soften because life has been kind. Others soften because they know what happens when they do not. So when you see the street vendor smile at someone who never buys anything, there may be more happening than manners. There may be a whole history inside that small expression. A history of waiting, being passed by, counting coins, swallowing disappointment, and still choosing a human face for the next person. And maybe that is why it feels so tender. The smile is not asking to be admired. It is not asking to be explained. It is just there, under the weak orange light, beside the wet street, in a morning that keeps moving whether anyone is ready or not. A small softness. A small refusal to turn cold. A small sign that even in a life where people come and go without buying, someone can still meet the world with a little warmth left in his face.